Back today with another leak from a high-mile German car, as to be expected. I was driving, all of a sudden, got a notification, check coolant, open the hood, could see some steam coming out. I have nothing in the reservoir. I see that it looks like it was coming from back here, which actually part of the heater core back there. It's gonna be that thing right there. I believe that is what's leaking. That goes through the firewall. So basically what I did, took off the intake, which wasn't really needed, just for more space. But before I start doing stuff, there's going to be 4 different kind of they're like screw clip things. Kind of unscrew them, and then you can see it's kind of like a clip in there. So there's 4 of those, 2 here and 2 by the battery cover, 1 and 2. Took those out. Next is going to be the wiper blades. They'll have to come out so I can get the cowl off. So what I figured out for these cars, I already got this one off. This part right here, this plastic part, just pops off. I have to see what size bolt that it's going to be, or what socket it's going to be. Get the wipers off, and hopefully I can see what's going on. I do believe that it is that plastic piece after looking into it a little bit. I have also heard that coolant can come out there if there's something going on within the valley. It doesn't look like I have any hoses or anything leaking. It looks like that's where it is. It was dripping down kind of onto the exhaust, causing it to steam. So I'm going to get all of that off and see if that is the issue. This is a 2014 E550 M278, of course, as you can see, but I will see if that is the issue. Essentially ended up taking the cowl off. Wipers are off. The wiper motor is also off as well. Take this piece off. Cowl is not fully removed because you have the wiring for the wiper fluid that comes out. But the cowl is pulled off, as you can see. Had to unplug the motor. Mostly just bolts that you're going to be taking off along the way. But you will see, you can finally get back in here, and this is where it goes through right here. On my car, this is the only way to get back there. You can't remove this firewall here, at least not that I'm aware of, without a lot more work. So this is, I guess, the quote easiest way to do it. I did skip over removing all of this. It's not too difficult. You just kind of gotta take it step by step. That'll let you get back there finally, and I'll see as far as getting out of there. It is very tight back in there. I'm not 100% certain that this is the leak, but this is my best guess. I actually saw some videos on S550s, which are different. The firewall is different. Of course, on the E-Class, much tighter to work with. So I'll see if I can get it out. All right, so after a little bit of time, I finally got this hose off and the one that's down here, right here. Also, I am working on getting this disconnected. There's a clip that does go in there, which is right here. Mostly using both of these grips for those clips. They are very tight and pretty difficult to get out, so it's just gonna take a little bit of time. But the only other thing is disconnecting this, and then should be able to get the part out. There is a tiny bit of fluid that will come out, but almost nothing. Once I get it out, I'll see what it looks like, if I can identify what happened to it. It is just very tight in these. As you can see, this is the amount of space you're working with, and you're trying to get everything in there. There's really not much of an easier way to do it. But I'll see what it looks like when it gets out. All right, now I've got the part off. As you can see, nothing's like apparently bad or broken on it. Big challenge was this with the connector. So actually what I did is, see down there, this is where it feeds in there. I actually took these and put it in between and kind of spread it out, and it pushed it out. Pretty difficult to do, took me a while, but finally got it out. Next step is getting the part. I can leave the part number for this in the description since I did find it. No dealers by me actually had it in stock, so I will have to order it, install. As you can see, or maybe can't see, my tank is, my reservoir is completely empty. I just noticed that there's a bunch of coolant underneath. When you look below here, again, you can't really see much. You can sort of see a little puddle and a little bit of drips, but it was leaking straight onto my downpipe on the driver's side. All right, so it is the next day. Got the new parts in. I decided to order the heater hose and basically the heater hose valve. This one right here, and that connects in there. This is the old part. Honestly, it's one of those things where you might not be able to tell if it's leaking or not. I decided to do it while I have everything out. Both these hoses are $30 each. This one is extremely hard to get out, at least on my car. This connects in towards the rear, way down in there. You have a clip that holds it in, going around there, as you can see. I pretty much had to take some very long pliers, pry the clip, and carefully get it out with my hands so that I did not drop the clip down the engine bay. But yeah, I got the clip off, and I pretty much just pried this out. I got it out finally, and I'm gonna see how things are getting it back in, and hopefully the leak is fixed. It's always a good idea to do preventative. I'm really not sure where the leak was from. It's one of those things where you're probably not gonna be able to tell, so I just did both at once. Here's both of the old parts and the new ones. This one came with the clip on there and that clip. This one does not come with the clip, so it's a good thing I was able to get that one out. But it is very, very tight. There's really not much you can do to help it other than getting your hand back in there. You can try to pry this, but it's not really going to move too much. Mine kind of moves up and down. Still doesn't really help. It's just going to be extremely tight. So I'll give an update when I'm done. Oh, this is kind of the area back there. It is really hard to see it. So here's the area back here where it is. It is this piece right there. You can see how tight that would be. I mean, you're barely gonna be able to get your hand in there. It's gonna take a little bit of patience. Just be careful not to drop that clip. All right, got everything back together. Pretty much started off down here. You can kind of see this over down there. Again, I said there's a clip down there. What I actually ended up doing was putting the clip in place where the plastic, where the hose will feed in, and then push the hose in. You'll hear it click into place. That was the first thing I did, and probably the hardest thing. After that, got the heater hose valve, and for that, kind of just had to fit it into place. You can see there's one, a little tab here, here, and here. Fit those into place. Then I went over and did this small hose right there. I just took the pliers and then put it over, held up pliers here, and then fed the hose onto the plastic part, and then let go of the clip. And finally was this. This already had the clip on here, so just feed it on and release the clip. And then you'll have to feed this part into here. Again, there's another clip here. It actually had a clip on it. The new part did. I dropped that, but luckily I had the old clip, whatever the name is for these. And just fit that on there. Now everything is all good. Now, as you can see, I have a lot that is apart. So now it's just time to put everything back together, fill the reservoir, and make sure there's no leaks. All right, got everything back together. I did end up bleeding the coolant, even though I've heard that Mercedes cars, you don't have to bleed the coolant. But I basically just turned on the heat, hottest setting, but just the fan on one. Obviously left the cap open, let it warm up a little bit, held it at like 2K RPMs for a couple seconds. Then also I went on a drive, went back, opened the cap again, make sure it was good, everything was good, no leaks. You see everything's back here, it's put together. Of course the firewall looks a little rough, but nothing's leaking back there. Everything's put back together, running good. Basically, yeah, the motor that goes back in, the wiper motor, plug that back in. I think there's 2 bolts, one over here and here, you can't see them. Get that on, and you'll take the this piece right here, which there's 2, it kind of slides on there, and then there's a bolt right here. And once you get that on, then was the cowl, I believe. Also, I had this trim off, put that back on. Cowl goes on, and there is 4 tiny screws, 1, 2, and 3, and 4. Kind of like make sure everything's aligned on there. You'll have holes, or kind of pins or rods, or whatever you want to call them, for the wiper blades. Make sure that those go in there. Then basically just put the wiper blades back on, and I just threw my intake back in, and everything seems to be all good.